does a professor of Japanese history do all day? And who can study Japanese history? The short answer is, as university academics, we teach and do research. They are two sides to the same coin. This means most days we read a lot. Books, archives, museums, we look at photographs, maps, trawl on websites. These are all the tools and parts of what we examine to do research. But we also travel to meet with other scholars, attend conferences, see the countries we are investigating, and see what's going on at the local level to try and get a feel for how people behave and think. And what are we researching? Any topic that we feel is important and interesting. So you have to create topics of interest for yourself and then figure out how to find materials that can help you answer your historical questions. Well, who knows what's important? Who decides what sort of history should be written? No one. And that is why we train students here to think critically in ways that will help them go out later and do research that will answer those questions. Obviously, not all students will finish our Japanese studies program and go on to be historians. That's fine, because the tools they learn here, analytical thinking, mastery of an East Asian language, exposure to cultures and history not their own, writing with a high degree of competency, as well as research techniques, are all very important skills to use in any job. We have students that graduated from our undergraduate department who went on to become economic analysts, bankers, coffee market specialists, entrepreneurs starting up new media-related companies, teachers, and much more. My name is Barak Kushner, and I teach modern Japanese and East Asian history at the Faculty of Asian and Middle Eastern Studies at the University of Cambridge. For me, the exciting field of Japanese history opened up new avenues for me to explore. I'm also interested in Japan's interactions with China and Taiwan, so I frequently travel to those countries as well to look at their libraries, archival holdings, and collaborate with scholars overseas. Currently, I'm working on a collaborative project that is mapping where Japanese war crimes took place, and I'm looking at what I call the geography of power and justice in post-war East Asia. Several years ago, I wrote one of the first books on Chinese war crimes trials of the Japanese, and this formed the basis for several Chinese documentaries that were produced by a Shanghai media company. I enjoy introducing undergraduates to the new realm of Japanese history. In conclusion, remember that anyone can join the field of Japanese studies. We take students that have no experience, but you need to know why you are coming. It's a very challenging program that will require hours and hours of study. But it will also be a very rewarding several years of study because you will get to know a culture and history very different from Europe, and you will be required to spend an academic year in Japan as well. Japanese studies is not for everyone, but if you choose it as a subject at university and even never continue with it afterward, it can still open your eyes to new worlds as it did for me many decades ago. If you're more interested about my research and background, please see the bottom of the screen for my personal webpage, and you can also learn more about the Japanese Studies program in general at Cambridge by going to the webpage directed below.